welcome. I'm happy to have you here. We're going to talk about successful, authentic, early English as a foreign language. So, teaching English here, writing and reading. I'm Wendy Coulson with English Language Programs. I'm an English Language Specialist, they call, working right now with Queen Rania Teacher Academy on a program for 1st through 3rd grade, incorporating reading and phonics. So to be announced later, right? We don't know when that program will come out. So this here as a, oh, is it going to fall? Short-term consultant. Oh, hopefully not. Wait, we got an emergency. I don't want to fall on anybody. Just so you know, not to like tell my curriculum or anything, but just so you know, I have substantial experience. Welcome in the classroom. Yesterday I said 7 years with children, but it's actually 8, and the last in the classroom, and then also consulting. But I've been working for over 25 years. Another number that makes me old. In EFL, ESL, all levels, everywhere. So I have some experience, but so do you. So I appreciate your experience too. That's what I have. But sometimes people like to tell you what to do, and I don't like to do that. And they don't have the experience in the classroom. They've studied it. So I have both. Okay, let's get started. So I always like to start with objectives. By the end of this workshop, you will be able to engage in authentic, so real, early language experiences. So this is called the language experience approach. Has anybody ever heard of that? Language experience? Good. Now you're going to find it all over the internet. It's very common. But I don't see a lot of teachers using it. And I have used it exactly how I'm going to teach you today to great success. So, welcome. So you'll learn about that. You'll demonstrate the steps. There's a protocol, okay, for the first 3 grades, or KG, or you can see how you can adapt it for Arabic. And you will be able to, I'll make somebody do it at the end, state at least 5 new authentic writing and reading activities that you'll do when we workshop it. Now don't worry, this will take about an hour, so you'll have time to go to the last speaker, and we'll be able to do everything here. So, hope feel like you're in the right place. Oh, I didn't want to, oh, nobody knows what it is. Okay, never mind. I was going to ask you, do you know? Okay. So language experience, approach. Language experience, go together, approach. So you use the learner's own vocabulary, language patterns, and background experiences to create reading text. Welcome. Oh, okay. Which make reading instruction meaningful and enjoyable. Doesn't that sound good? Read it to yourself 1 second so you can. Okay. Using the learner's own words and experience to create something like that. Okay? So you'll see. We can come back to that definition. All right. So here's the advantages. A lot of us don't have resources in our classroom, right? We go to trainings, everybody talks about your class library, individual texts, and we usually don't have those, right? So with language experience approach, they're free. You'll create those with the children, so you can start your class library, and they're culturally appropriate because they come from you and the culture in your classroom. The vocabulary and grammar will be at their level, so what they're able to say. Their words will come to life, so it's highly motivating. They're like, oh, wow, that's my story. It's right there. And you can concentrate on just teaching reading, because sometimes when you get a text that comes with the textbook or outside, they struggle with the meaning of it. Like, what? Where is this person from? And a lot of the materials probably come from Britain or United States, and it's hard to understand that kind of life. But with this, it's their own words, so you can just concentrate on decoding and vocabulary. So it takes all the comprehension on the side. You can put phonics in it, something mentioned. You can tailor it to how you want. It lends itself to creating the class library. That kind of goes with the first one. model of good reading and writing, so the teacher models it, and it's a record of children's speaking progress. Now maybe some of that doesn't make sense until we do the approach, right? So this will be on the website. I see some people writing it, and if you want, I can come back to this because it probably doesn't make a lot of sense right now. Okay. All right, so it's called Language Experience Approach. So what is a language experience? Well, basically, it's any shared experience and shared language that your students in your classroom have, what they have in common. Okay, so look, in the classroom, they have a lot of songs and poems, the stories that you've told them or read to them. You might have festivals, a special day in your school that you can write about. Field trips, if your school's not able to do that, you can just walk around the block or walk around the patio. Make it an experience for them. I'm not trying, I put some things that might cost money and always low things. Oh, well, I can't take my kids anywhere. You can walk around, probably, your school, so you can do something. It can be personal information. All the kids know each other, right, after a certain time. Pen pal letter you can write to another school. Description of their class, or maybe there's a new baby in the family, somebody's special day, and we can concentrate and write about that. So these are all experiences. Something about Aman, about Jordan, steps to complete something they know, something that's happened locally. So this is what the children and you will have in common to put comprehension to the side and to concentrate on reading. This will make more and more sense as we go along. Okay, but I just want you, what's a language experience? All right, let's go on. All right, here's the steps. So you share, we have an experience. Today we all have experience of being at the Teacher Skill Forum, right? We could write about that, but we're not going to. Because maybe some of you, like me, I was in bed all day. I was very sick, so I don't have the same experience. So if we started to write about Tony Gardner, I heard some other people couldn't go to it or had to go out. So maybe that's not a shared experience with all of us. So some of you will go, what is she talking about? But we share an experience, like perhaps we all went to the zoo. Okay, but I'll give you two experiences that we will have in common. Okay, you talk about it, you remember it together, because usually you don't do it on the same day. You generate a text with learners, with the teacher as a scribe. You'll see all of this, and I'll come back to the steps. We'll read it and revise it together to make sure I got the students' words down exactly how they wanted it. We'll do repeated reading, so we gain fluency and word recognition, because this is new, right? This is the beginning. And we'll have the students copy the test, so that will be their first writing. Now, it's not writing in the conventional form, or sometimes reading in the conventional form, but those of you that have children or remember back, the first stages of reading aren't really reading. They're repeating a familiar book, a story they already know, and they want to read the same books again and again. And that early writing can be copying, but that's how we start, right? And then soon they'll match the reading and writing together, and they will be doing it for real, okay? And then once they have that text there, then you can work on it. It's in your notebook, and you can do further writing with it, phonics study, and grammar. Still, I have a lot of people going, okay, let's practice. Okay, we will. Okay, I'm going to give you two, let's see. I'm going to give you two experiences that we'll all have in common. One is a poem. Remember, one of the language experiences was songs and games and things like that. And the other one's a story. Okay? The first one we're going to do, but I'm going to leave it to later to talk about it. And the second one will actually go through the steps of the language experience story. Okay, but you're going to have to stand up and move, which is good after lunch, right? Okay, I'm going to demonstrate, and then when you feel comfortable, or you can do it with me. I'm standing, I'm sitting, I'm writing, I'm knitting. Who can do that with me? Yeah, come on. I'm standing, sitting, I'm writing, I'm knitting. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to do it. No, I'm going to say it, and I want you to do it. I'm standing, I'm sitting, I'm writing, I'm knitting. So good. So the next day, I'll give them the next lines. This is not something that all happens in one day. Okay? I'm reading, I'm counting, I'm swimming, I'm shouting. Can you do it with me? I'm reading, I'm counting, I'm swimming, I'm shouting. I think you can do all of it together with me, right? I'm standing, I'm sitting, I'm writing, I'm knitting, I'm reading, I'm counting, I'm swimming, I'm shouting. Oh my goodness, very good. Let's see. I'm going to say it. No, I want you to say it on the front row. You say it, and those who wish to in the back, maybe this table will do it. Are you ready? I'll help you out.
I'm standing, I'm sitting, I'm writing,
See if they do it.
I'm knitting, I'm reading, I'm counting, I'm swimming, I'm shouting.
Wow, they did a good job. All right. Next day. Okay, so you do this. I'm going fast because of the demonstration, but we want to get this poem inside them as a living experience. That's why I want to emphasize too. It's a
What's the objective for this? This is really good, but what is
It's a language experience, and then you'll see later how we'll make it into a story. But we have to have a shared experience, and this is something typical you might do in your classroom, especially the ones that were in my workshop.
Activity, the student learned 8 verbs.
Yeah, oh, they'll learn more. This poem is long. Okay, good.
This is like in 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
Right, and you guys are quick. Very good. I'm eating, I'm drinking, I'm talking, I'm thinking. Can you do it with me?
I'm eating, I'm drinking, I'm talking, I'm thinking.
Oh, we have to do the whole thing together. Okay. I'm standing, I'm sitting, I'm writing, I'm knitting, I'm reading,
I'm counting, I'm swimming, I'm shouting. I'm eating, I'm drinking, I'm shouting.
talking.
I'm thinking.
Very good. Let's see if this table, do you think you can do it?
Yeah.
Do you think you can say it for them? Okay, now I want you, this table, make sure that they are really doing it, okay? Ready? Say it, and they'll do it.
I'm standing, I'm sitting, I'm writing, I'm knitting, I'm reading, I'm counting, I'm swimming, I'm shouting, I'm eating, I'm drinking,
Very fast.
talking, I'm thinking.
Wow, this is amazing. Okay. I need one volunteer. Go like this. This is something I will do a lot over time. Have a seat. And usually I'll say, teacher, may I sit in there? Now you look straight forward.
Right.
I'm going to act out one of the actions from the poem. Well, poem.
right.
And you have to guess.
All right.
And you'll say, are you standing? Are you
Okay.
sitting?
All right. Should I look at you or should I just?
No, you're guessing.
All right. When do you want me to start?
Now, what am I doing?
Are you eating?
No, I'm not. What am I doing?
Are you swimming?
Yes, I am. Good job. All right, you go behind here. Somebody else come to the chair. Okay, one of the ones from the poem.
Am I supposed to ask her what am I doing?
Yeah, what am I doing when you are doing
All
it?
right. What am I doing? You're talking.
Are you
Are
talking?
you
talking?
No, I am not. What am I doing?
Are you thinking?
No, I am not. What am I doing?
Are you counting?
Yes, I am.
Oh, good job. Okay. I usually have them do the same activity, but today I'm cloudy. And here's something I skipped over. Here's the first thing I do. So even when you just have 4 lines, I still do a game with them because it's very motivating and that experience will be deeper, you know, when you have an emotional tie to something. So if they're just repeating like that, that's fun, but if there's a game element to it, they want to know more verbs, so it's more motivating. So here's what I'll do, even after just I'm standing, I'm sitting, I'm writing, and knitting. So I'll say, am I standing? Yes, you are, or no, you're not. Am I standing?
Yes.
Am I counting?
No, you're not.
And they, of course, with little kids, that's so funny if you're doing something, you're not doing the thing that you say. So, yeah. And then we can play charades, and someone say, what am I doing? And everybody says, you are swimming. So, and every day I add the lines. I'm going to read the...
So what's the emphasis here on vocab or verbs or just or grammar?
Yeah, think of your class as a whole. So this might be something I'm doing because maybe present continuous is coming up. I tend to do these kind of language forms before the unit comes up.
Okay.
Because then, when the unit comes up,
Ready.
they're ready. Then we start writing it down when I'll show you. But I want to say the whole poem if anybody wants to.
It'd be like a warm-up.
Yeah, exactly. In the workshop yesterday, those who came, is I do like 15-minute, 10, depends on the grades, 10, 15-minute, in little kids, 20-minute circle with all these kind of language-rich activities, and then it's available. And if you plan it right, it's exactly available when you need it for your lessons. So here's how the whole thing goes, if anybody wants to. Okay, remember the first part? You don't have to do it, just say it. I'm standing.
I'm sitting, I'm writing, I'm knitting, I'm reading, I'm counting, I'm swimming, I'm shouting, I'm eating, I'm drinking, I'm talking, I'm thinking.
I'm giving, I'm taking, I'm sweeping, and I'm baking. That's a hard one. I'm baking, okay? I'm laughing, I'm looking, I'm washing, I'm cooking, I'm driving, I'm rowing, I'm kneeling, I'm growing. Now this is thanks to one of my mentors, Christoph Jafka, that does a lot of trainings in this, but that's the whole poem. So later, if you want to take a picture of this, we'll have that available. Okay, so that's one experience we have together. I hope you liked it. Of course, as she said, we also will work on it with grammar, but now it's inside them and we can use it as an experience. Okay, second experience. Remember I told you I was going to leave that one for later, but this one we're going to work on. Is a story. What is this? It's a mouse with very big ears. Okay, so that story. I like to tell a lot of stories because it's more engaging with the group and you can change the language level. But also, as we know with our English as a foreign language, we need to give some more visual support sometimes. So I kind of do between the book and between telling and acting. This story is called The Crickets. Do you know what a cricket is? In Arabic, what is a cricket? I want noise. No? Can you see the picture? It's very small. See, this helps if I know the native language. Yeah, make the noise. At night time. Okay.
It's actually closer to a grasshopper, not to
Well, anyway, bad question. Okay, next. So this is a cricket, whatever you call it. And what's, Richie, we're very good. What sound does it make? it kind of makes a chirping sound. Chirp, chirp. Can everybody make that sound? Chirp. When it rubs its legs. Chirp, chirp. Okay, this is a story about a mouse who couldn't sleep because the crickets were chirping too loud. One night, a mouse woke up. Oh, there was a chirping sound outside her window. "What is that noise?" asked the mouse. The cricket said, "What did you say? Chirp, chirp. I cannot hear you and make my music at the same time. Chirp, chirp." "I want to sleep," said the mouse. "I do not want any more music." "What did you say?" asked the cricket. "You want more music? I will find a friend. Come on." Soon there were 2 crickets chirping. Chirp, chirp, chirp. "I want you to stop the music," said the mouse, "and you are giving me more." "What did you say?" asked the crickets. "You want more music? We will find another friend. Come on." Soon there were 3, 1, 2, 3 crickets chirping. Can you make the sound? Chirp, 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 chirp. Oh. Soon there were 3 crickets chirping, and the mouse said, "You must stop the music. I am tired. I cannot take much more." "What did you say?" Chirp, chirp. "You want much more music? We will find many friends." And soon there were 10 crickets chirping. "Stop," said the mouse. "Your music is too loud." "Loud?" asked the cricket. "Yes, we can chirp loud. Come on, crickets. Chirp, 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 chirp." So the 10 crickets chirped very loud. "Please," shouted the mouse, "I want to sleep. I wish that you would all go away." "Go away?" asked the cricket. "Why didn't you say so in the first place? We will go away and chirp somewhere else." Chirp, chirp. They went away and chirped somewhere else. And the mouse went back to sleep. That's my story. Okay. So first grade, as our friend here, what's your name? Hannah said, she usually draws a picture. Okay. So the next day, like I said, these should be live experiences. I don't think I'll tell the story. Okay, kids, let's write a story. No. When you do it the next day, we could do a story retelling. Can you see you could easily act this out, right? You could have first cricket, 3 crickets, the 10 crickets you could involve. Then the next day, the children, you have to think up ways to repeat the story. And I like to do at least 3 days. Okay? And when that story is alive in them and they know it because you've worked on it with the language and acting it out, then you'll want to do the language experience approach. So let's go back to our steps. Here we go. We shared an experience. This is 4 days later. And we're going to talk about it. Oh, wasn't that fun? What was your favorite part? What was your favorite part?
We have 10 crickets.
Huh?
We have 10 crickets.
Yes, and in the story, so you like the 10 crickets. What were the 10 crickets doing?
They are chirping.
Chirping. Did you like that part? But that's not nice. The mouse couldn't sleep. That's not very nice. Huh? What did you like? Did you like it when the mouse was angry and couldn't sleep? No. So what can we say about these 10 crickets and the mouse? What can we say? We'll draw a picture, right? So we'll draw I'm not going to draw the picture. I will practice it, because you've seen, like, if you draw a beautiful picture, the kids are like, teacher, you're a genius. You know? Yeah, no, so practice your pictures, but I didn't. Also, when I make these puppets for the kids, they are, what does the teacher make for me today? So anything to get that.
Sometimes if I didn't draw to them, they draw better than me.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I do practice, but just to tell you, I didn't. So we're just gonna say we drew a picture, and we have our 10 crickets and our mouse. There, that's the best I can do right now. All right, let's combine. We like the part where there's the 10 crickets, but what did the crickets want to do? The
They want to
okay, the crickets, what?
They want to share.
The crickets, what, help me with the sentence? Okay. Oh, good, I heard a good sentence. Can you repeat what they said? Oh, okay, let's do once, because we're in the beginning. Okay, tell me, what's the first word? Okay. Okay, the crickets, right? Oh, the teacher's getting old, I forgot. The crickets want, we can do wanted, it's okay. If they come up with that, we can do that. But also, now I'm thinking, I'm the teacher, I do the planning, right? I'm thinking where I want to steer this to so I can work on it later. But first, you'll see what my objective is. The crickets, all this talking, I forgot what I was writing. The crickets want, it's great if you can get out of the way so you can model. I'm modeling right now. The crickets want to chirp, chirp, chirp. Okay. To ch. Well, that's a hard one. Ch, ch. Oh. But, okay, let's read this. Who can read this with me? Who can read it? Yes? More people can read with me. Ready? The crickets want to chirp. That's amazing. The crickets want to chirp, but we also know the mouse wants something too. The mouse? The mouse wants to sleep. Is that true?
Yes.
Oh, if only the world could be fair. Okay, I'm trying to get out of the way to model, but I'm having difficulty. Okay, so you said the crickets want to chirp and the mouse, I have to do a capital letter, right? It's at the beginning of the sentence. We put a big letter. Sometimes I do that in a different color. The
Mouse.
This is a difficult one now. S. One. Mouse wants or wants? To sleep. Double letter here. Okay, I think I got it. Is that what we have in the picture? Say yes. Okay, ready? Let's do our second one. Let me make sure I got it exactly like you wanted it. Read with me, everybody. And the mouse wants to sleep. Oh my goodness. Do you think we can read both of them?
Yes.
Oh, let's see. Okay, ready? And the crickets want to chirp. The mouse wants to sleep. Okay, we shared an experience. We talked about it. Pictures are always good, either before or after, depending on what level. I usually do them after because it takes some students so long to copy this down that I'll put the picture to later. So this is something they can do. Yeah, and while they're doing that, they come up to me individually and read it after they copy it down. So we read it and we revised it. There was nothing to revise in this way. And we read it repeatedly. So you did that. Okay, let's find ways to read it repeatedly. We did whole group. Now we want to say, I usually do girls and boys, but girls though. Let's say the front of the room, now the back, I want you to check to see if they read it exactly, word for word, okay? So the front of the room, the first 3 tables, they're going to check and you tell me if it's good or not good. Ready? And.
The crickets want to chirp. The mouse wants to sleep.
How did they do? Oh, well, can you do it? The back, okay? You check and see if they get every word, all right?
The crickets want to chirp. The mouse wants to sleep.
Ah, perfect. I'm wondering if one table can do it all by themselves. Which table can do this? This is our stuff. Okay, but you check it, okay? You could even have a kid point to the words to check. Ready?
The crickets want to chirp. The mouse wants to sleep.
Oh my goodness, now I can go like that, I won't, for expediency's sake. Can anybody do it by themselves or with a friend? Choose a friend to do it with them? Yes? Who's your friend? You can do it? Wow, how brave. Now don't, remember first, second, third chorus, as much as you can do together. So only volunteers are called out. I'll show you where individual reading, yeah, because it's confidence and if they want to do it, pretty soon everybody will want to do it.
And I have sometimes kids who can't read at all and they just want to read. So I sometimes just help them, or I say the word and they repeat
They
it.
choose a friend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I have the class help them. Use the class help. Oh, and they feel special because they're usually weak and they get to choose somebody. Not everybody gets to do that, right?
They like it.
Okay, now you too. You said you could do it by yourself. Okay, everybody check. They're brave. They're the first brave ones.
The crickets want to chirp. The mouse wants to sleep.
Oh my goodness. Now, once we get fluency, maybe not the first time, but once we get fluency, I will have them read it backwards. Just to check, I will do it out of order. I will also have, if this is the very beginning, I'll have some flashcards and I'll put one word on each one. And then they can match it. Now that seems pretty simple to you and me, but imagine KG matching the words.
What I find the students enjoy is if they say, okay, the one line we're going to whisper and the other line will say loud, or the one will say it like crickets and the other one like mice.
I love her. That's another way. Good. Because we need to read repeatedly, but if we do it the exact same way, okay, read it 3 times. The mouse wants to sleep. The mouse wants, no, that's not fun. You know, we make it a game, and she just had 2 other variations. Anybody else want to add a variation that we could do? I do boy, girls, this side of the room, this side, the front, the back, the table, but every day a little bit. It can go very quickly. And this is what gets the fluency and, okay? So they match the words. The next day, you can put the words out of order or in order first. It's always good to review. So they can put it in order, they can read it again. You can then use those cards as flashcards, especially for those sort of frequency. So there's no end. So that's, I would say, this is like the very, very beginning. Now, after having worked on that story several days, so think about that. Not just, I read it, let's do this. They can't say these words yet. Welcome. All right, so let's do something for 3rd grade. Oh, there it is. So we can make this easier, or we can make it harder. We could have just done one sentence. For a 2nd grader, maybe down the line, we could do the beginning, middle, and end of the story. 1 line, 1 day, we work on it. Next line, we have a small book with the title page that they can have. And then they can do repeated reading at their desk with their neighbor because it's right there. So I usually have them copy the text. Then each one, while they're drawing the picture or doing something else, they can come up, and that's where they can read it to you individually. I sit at my desk, they come, the mouse wants to sleep. Oh, you missed something. Look up here. Okay. And then you have an individual record. Nobody has to be put on the spot, right? and then you had all that practice. And this is like a drill. But what's new? The story changes. It's their words, so it's motivating, even though it's the same format. We could do phonics study. We could pick out certain sounds that we're focusing on. Only you know your curriculum, so you can steer it to particular words. Okay, so for third grade, I might do a skit. They love to act things out. Has anybody ever heard of readers' theater? Yes, so, or we could just memorize it too and do a skit. So another variation for perhaps older children with more text would be a skit. So how would we start this? What did the mouse say? We're not going to do the whole book, but the whole story, but the mouse. How can we start our story? What would the mouse say at the beginning? What did the mouse say? Yes? What did she want to do? So she said, I want to sleep. She angry? Should we put an exclamation point? I want to sleep. Exclamation point. Okay, and what did the cricket say? Said yes, no problem, see you later? No.
What did you say?
What did you say? Oh, no, so she? Oh, wait, the mouse has to say something else first then. Remember, because he couldn't hear, so he said it's too loud. So the mouse says, I want to sleep.
Your music is very loud.
Okay, your music is too loud. Is too loud. Now you guys are advanced, so. Okay. The cricket says then, what does the cricket say? What do you want? What? What did you say, right? What did you say?
You want some more?
You want loud music? We can make it up, whatever. You want, what is it? You want loud music? Now, obviously, I would go slowly, and I'm modeling how to start with a capital letter and punctuation little by little. But remember, it's that daily repetition, and they'll eventually get it. If I would do a whole class on capital letters and periods, forget it, no? But if you did this repeatedly every week with a different story, and then say, how do we begin a sentence? And you did it in red, okay? And how do we end? And you model that little bit every day, that's what's going to get it, okay? You want loud music? And what does the mouse say? What does the mouse say? I think you guys are asleep. We need some crickets to wake you up.
No, I want to sleep.
No. I want to sleep. Anything else, she says? Stop. Stop. Oh, I want, and you? Okay, I want you to go away. But it's okay. Depending on the level, because I would maybe do about 4 lines the first day and practice it, add on, because it will be tired. Imagine the whole group is helping you construct this, and then you're modeling it. It goes a little bit slower at this point if you do it well. So, and you guys are starting to go, so we'll, okay, no, I want to sleep. I
want you to go away.
I want you to go away. Okay, let's have one more line by the cricket before we stop ours for today.
I have one question.
Oh,
Before you start reading the story, could you tell them like, listen carefully would be like, I'll be asking you questions or no?
We just enjoy it.
Yeah.
No. But they'll get used to your routine, how you do
They'll
it.
get used to it.
Yeah, and it's inherent. When you act it out the next day and the next day and they write it and they help you, you know if they understood it or not. Okay?
I think that's really important because I notice a lot of times teachers in classrooms, they give instructions specifically to pay attention for full stops or capital letters, and that's what the children are going to focus on rather than enjoying their stuff, or the writing or the script itself.
Yeah, but really what happened now, we didn't pay attention really to the details of the story. That's why we cannot participate. This is my point. Like, probably if we knew exactly that we really have to pay attention to like what did the cricket say, or probably would participate more. I'm not sure.
Well, the problem is,
I would say you skipped a couple steps. I mean,
Yeah.
normally they would be retelling it for a few more days.
yes.
Yeah.
So before this, you would have
Yeah,
already
if it's a
gone over
pattern,
it.
yes, I'll just get used to the style, and then next time I'll focus more.
No, but she,
But does it matter though, too? Does it matter?
I think because children, anyway, for children, they pay attention for this thing. They like stories, so they will be listening for you. For us, okay, we are kind of sleepy, but for kids,
Yeah.
no.
No, we're not sleepy, but it's interesting. It's interesting, like, because you're asking for the details, and yeah, I noticed that.
No, I could take more time, but since this is a demo, I'm going fast. I could take more time and say, no, remember what happens next, show the picture.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll probably steer them towards this pattern, one pattern, so it's not all over the place, depending what my grammar curriculum is. Maybe not. I want to see what they can say and what they know, and I'll help them. Now, there's methods of this you'll see on the internet. They say even if the children make grammatical mistakes, write that down. I don't agree. Not in a second language. And
We read it only once for the student, and the student will retell the story in this way.
no, well, so I read it. I did my initial storytelling. The next day we would retell it together. I'd probably pick kids to be the crickets and maybe not say anything but act it out. Somebody would be the mouse and I'd have my crickets come and chirp, chirp, chirp so they'd know what their cue was. And then the next day I will give probably a small speaking part. And then the fourth
Then you
day,
do this.
then I would
So
do this.
then we won't have this problem.
Yeah. No, and if I took my time, I'm sorry, I
Okay.
probably did like in my
No, it's
I skipped it. I would probably insist more. I don't know. Another kid would probably say what happened, or I'd go. If it was really important to me, I would get the three parts: the first cricket, there was 4 times: the first cricket, the second cricket, 3 crickets, and 10 crickets. So I would focus.
And maybe the children will focus more than us.
yeah, because
They like the
not
story.
just listening
Yeah, they
skills,
do.
you're working on all the skills.
Yes, at the same time, because it's a very whole language, but then after you can work on parts and put it back together. Okay, I'm just going fast because you guys are smart. Okay, just give me one more line so we can practice here. Okay, so let's see. The mouse says, okay, this table, why don't you read what the mouse says? Let's read together. I want to sleep. Your music is too loud. Crickets. What did you say? You want loud music? No.
I want to sleep. I want you to go away.
What are you going to say, crickets?
Okay, we go on crickets.
Okay, I'll go and
said you
choo, choo.
To sleep?
Yeah, so then
Yes.
Let's pull our friends or.
Yes. Good. No problem. Okay. So let's agree on something to say. So, okay. I will go and chirp somewhere else. How about that one? Just to finish it. Okay. What was it? Okay. I will go and what was that word? verb
Somewhere.
somewhere else. Now, once you get more fluent at this, that maybe a student could come up and help you write some of the words. Okay? Maybe I will go and chirp somewhere, else. Okay. So, the front of the room, you are the mouse, and the back of the room, you are the cricket. Okay? Or read with expression, like we've been practicing. The mouse.
I want to sleep. Your music is too loud.
What did you say? You want loud music?
No, I want to sleep. I want you to go away. Okay, I will go and chirp somewhere else.
Ah, good. Now, to get them to memorize this, you can do that for reading. I will tend to go, oh, look over there. Hey. Okay. This will give another motivation for another repeated reading, right? Also, we are reading, but since we are English as a foreign language, we will get more speaking, scaffolded speaking as the words disappear. So this is also something I do. You can put that, because it gets complicated once I erase more and more. Okay, let's see. The mice, let's have the back be the mice and mouse, and you be the crickets. Let's see if you can get this word. Okay, ready? Mouse?
I want to sleep. Your music is too loud. What did you say? You want loud music?
Ooh.
No, I want to sleep. I want you to go away. Okay, I will go and chirp somewhere else.
See, I'm sneaky. They like this. I always go, nobody look, nobody look. Now you can, you as teachers, you know what words you can erase and what not. Oh my goodness, I bet you can't read this now, right? It's too difficult. You can't? Let me see. Okay, we're going to have these two tables. You are the mouse, and we'll have these three. Will be the cricket. Okay, ready? Nice.
I want to sleep. Your music is too loud. What did you say? You want loud music? No, I want to sleep. I want you to go away. Okay, I will go and chirp somewhere else.
Now you can imagine you can probably erase a little more. I'm not going to do it, but you're like, you can't do it. Oh, you can, And then they're not only getting more speaking practice, they're also reading. And then once I get it to almost nothing, I leave the lines for the next day, and then I will see if they can remember them, and we'll start filling them in. I'll leave it like that, or with a few more lines. And then we'll have another reason for the next day. I always like to leave something to repeat it again. And now you have a little skit. They'll copy it in their book. And this book especially, this is the same author as Frog and Toad. Frog and Toad, Arnold Bobo. And these just lend themselves to skits. He has another book called Fables, Arnold Bobo. They're not your traditional fables. And with a third grade class, we did the language experience stories for every single one of them, acted them out, and then the groups got to choose which one they wanted to do. And their parents came in, and we performed songs, like I'm standing and sitting, if you were in my workshop yesterday, plus the parents got to see a short plays. So it was really fun and motivating. And imagine how many times they read this. That's the key. It's all a trick, right?
Wendy, would you add these words that they suggested when you wrote the story on the word wall in the class?
You could, if you do that. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this is open to creativity. I just wanted to show you this basic method, but the sky's the limit. You have that structure, and you can move around. Okay, so I believe it is, okay, here's, I'm going to give you some possible objectives. These are not, which one did we accomplish with this activity? Read dictated sentence fluently with correct expression. I think we did this one too. Yeah, this one we didn't, but this is something you can do with perhaps another poem that has a question in it. I just brainstormed some possible. Okay, here's writing and spelling objectives. Does everybody see it? Anything that we did do here?
The first, we did the first.
Uh-huh. Now, that seems pretty simple, but if it's the first time they're writing, it's not. And copying from the board, maybe for some of your students, you said they have some issues with, this can be difficult to copy correctly if it's the first time with spacing. So with spacing, I don't know what you do, but you usually use stars between on the first one. Finger space. Okay, yeah. So you can do things like that. So if you do it like that, you have a strong objective with separate words, okay? Yeah. Can you read that out loud?
Write a simple dictated sentence without initial capital letter and define a meaning.
Right, and here's a more advanced one. Write one original sentence. If I've got a real strong group, and I'm working on this and just reading and copying, I'll have these two tables, add 2 more lines to it, okay? Or I can erase it, and I want to put your own word. This is scaffolding it so they can get to more independent, but this is the beginning. But sometimes you'll be surprised. They're really good. The fast word, okay, see if you can write another line with your friend. And then they can present theirs to the whole class. Okay, and this is something you could do as a follow-up activity. Find and correctly spell all the words with double letters. Whatever you want to focus on. That's why you as a teacher in your planning can direct the text to sort of get some of your own words in there. It's not really fair, but so that you can use it for your follow-up activities. All right? So if I wanted to chirp was important, then for the CH, I would make sure they use the word chirp, and then we could focus, take it out of the story, and add on more words. Okay? And so you can have also grammar objectives. Anything here? Yeah, we didn't do these. These are more advanced ones. You can see, but this can have these grammar objectives later on. Now, dictate the rhyme. I'm standing, I'm sitting, so I had you do that rhyme, not just to torture you or wake you up after lunch, but this is how actually I teach grammar. So if you were in my workshop yesterday, we're full of songs and rhymes and games. Later on, we used to do that one rhyme, I'm standing, I'm sitting. Let's do it. So we remember it, okay? We talk about, and we start writing it down. And as this woman said over here in the corner, then there's the grammar. Then we label it present continuous, and there it is. And then I might ask them a few questions. Is it what we did before? Or is it what we're doing now? Or is it what we do every day? As well as what we're doing now, because they lived the poem. So, well, I don't have to use present continuous, do I? So we might not write the whole poem in one day or with pictures, but there you go. And then we can add words that are not in the poem to this. So this is a way to do a language experience story, but with a grammar objective. Now what I do, since I concentrate on first through third, or use second on all listening, speaking, and writing comes later, and grammar study. Sometimes I'll bring this up in 4th grade. Remember in 2nd grade? Oh, your teacher did this. I had the privilege of teaching the same kids on up, so I knew what they did because I taught it to them. And then that would be our grammar unit. So you can do it years later, bring up the same idea, and then write it down, and then you can study it. So be crafty of what you teach them, because it can go a long way. All right. Let's see, how are we doing on time here? Okay, I know we have in half an hour, right? We have okay, so let's quickly, all I want you to do, Bridget, could you pass out a half sheet of paper? This is just very quick. about 5 minutes in your group. Here's the steps. I'll go back to them, but let me tell you what we're going to do very quickly. Oh, it just says your turn. It doesn't say what you're going to do. Okay. I want you to choose an objective. So just stay at your tables. We can skip this first one. Choose an objective like we had before. Write with capital letters and end with period or something like that. Think about your class as something you might need to accomplish. Decide what your shared experience will be, your language experience. Don't write the text. We don't have time for that. But decide what type of text. Is it going to be label in the picture? Is it going to be one sentence? Is it going to be a skit? Is it going to be a paragraph? Just make a decision that goes with your grade level. And decide on a follow-up activity. Now that I have the text, we did repeated reading. We have it in the notebooks. Now what am I going to do with it? Okay? Because remember, we could have phonics, we could have spelling from that, we could have a punctuation lesson. And am I going to use that text for a lesson? All right? And then just quickly, because we're writing on a paper, we'll present the ones that we can in the time that we have left. Is that clear? So it's going to be, it's difficult if you don't have colleagues from your school, but just say, okay, I teach third grade, and one of my objectives, what I can use this for is this. And then you all can think, oh, that would be good if they took a field trip or walked around the patio. Okay, and I'll pass out some markers. If you could write it as big as you can. Right, objective, shared experience, make a list, and then we'll present it. Oh, you have to go? Ooh. Okay. Bye. How many people? Didn't count. 20. And you go to the pictures? I might have 4 markers. Here's a marker, sorry. I only have 4. As big as you can so people can see. Even though it's only half page. Is it clear? I realize now I'm like, oh, 4th grade. What's your objective? What's it? Thinking, yeah. Do you want me to go back to some other objectives? Or
Sure.
For which one? Reading, writing?
What do you guys want? Reading, spelling, writing, grammar?
Let me go back. Here's a grammar one. Now these are just random. Of course you can have many objectives. Should I go to reading? Third grade? Objective, yes. Well, think about any third grade objective. Is there one coming up that you have to cover?
Unfortunately, I teach secondary school.
Oh, okay.
I teach 4th grade.
Oh, okay. Okay, we have to. Or you could do 4th grade if you both teach 4th. Change it to 4th. Could you think you could use this in 4th?
This way, the same thing that we did. No, I think it should be harder a little bit.
Yeah. How could you modify it?
Such as what?
For them.
We're writing persuasive writing. We're writing like short stories. I'm using some ways like teaching them how to write persuasive writing through all your method. We're teaching
In
them.
4th grade?
Yeah.
Wow. You know what you could do? You could have an experience like somebody persuading somebody. I always like to do like a salesman or something like, okay, or do commercials. You have to buy this because that's that.
Like a commercial something and on the paper and they like display it in the classroom. So we did this thing and we're writing now persuasive writing.
So maybe choose like not the best one, but one of them that really illustrates what you want to teach. And say, you know what, as a model for what we're going to write, let's choose the presentation from this group. And then they can give you the paragraph. Uh-huh. And then that's a model, and then they can do their own individual ones.
That's what I said.
Could be. Okay, so what's your objective for persuasive?
To write
One paragraph?
to write a persuasive paragraph about a certain topic.
Okay, write that one. But change it to fourth. Oh, good. I like this because it forced us to make it. We got another fourth grade one. They have a good. What do you have so far?
Text. To read with punctuation. So students should learn when they should stop, when they should show that they're exclaiming, they should.
So you're going to have to invent an experience that will make them do this. So, well, they'll present theirs, but let me just tell you what they did. She's fourth grade. She got persuasive paragraphs, and they've already done like a commercial. So they had to persuade someone. So I said, why don't you choose one of the presentations that maybe was the funniest or more motivating, and then they'll tell about that. And so that's a model. They write it together as a model, and she can use that for teaching. And then each one using that model after she highlights what words are persuasive that you use and how to begin a topic sentence. So she uses that as a model, the experience of one of the groups, and then each one goes and they write their own. So that's a good way to use it in the upper grades. I hope I gave you an idea. Punctuation. Lists have a lot of punctuation. What else has a lot of? A story with the quotes. Yeah, but a fourth grade level story, not this one. Okay, if you want to start on this one, because I know our time's getting short because we have to go to the class. Oh, I might go back to bed. All right. Good. Then that's easy for you.
We're fine.
Yeah. Oh, no problem.
You know, Oxford reading tree.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what we use in school.
Like the phonics?
Yeah.
I don't really like it.
Yeah, but I'm just telling you.
Big bad buck.
You know, Biff, Kipper, Chip, the characters. Yeah.
Can't stand it.
Yeah. So anyway, this is what we use. But still, we can. I think these stories are more fun. We use these stories in our themes.
Uh-huh.
But still, I think like we can use Oxford reading tree. Yeah, we can read it. We can write it on the board, and then we can let them read it on the board. We can erase some tricky words that we want them to recognize.
And you know what I do with the Oxford reading tree in the workshop I did? What I do is I take a phrase that's repeated with the phonics what they're teaching, and then I get all the rest away because they try to put too much in there. And then I make a big book with it, and then the kids make their own books.
Oh, okay.
But that's not exactly this workshop, but that's what I do.
Okay, I have
To make it easier, because then in the workshops there are no big books, so all the kids can't see it while you're teaching it. Then there's not enough for them to read it together.
We have big books for Oxford reading.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we don't. We're in the public schools.
But I still do write the sentences on the board and read them with them, especially if it is a really new, there are many new words in it, so I read before they take it home, so we get familiar with it.
Or for that one, how is their spoken English?
This year have a good speaker, really good.
You know what? Then maybe you could do Oxford Reading Tree. Maybe they come in and, do you know a morning message? Like, you ask the kids what they're doing that day, and you pick somebody's story, and they write it on the board. You could write it on the board for them.
Write the story on the board.
Write their sentence, like, my mom birthday was yesterday.
Oh, they're not the reading book.
Yeah, no, just from, yeah. Because you don't have to use a story if you remember all the language experiences. So that would be very motivating, and then you can make like a book of the best. You can keep it on chart paper, and every day you could go back and read what the news was yesterday, and then make your own book. And then when you have some spare time, they could illustrate that, and you can make your own. The morning message, whatever, you discuss what they did or what's happening, and then you pick one of them, one that goes with your fall notes thing, so as a teacher you're like, okay, I know what I'm looking for. Why don't we choose this one today? What did you say? Can you repeat that? Okay. Simple sentence. That's just an idea. What do you guys have for this?
These are my notes.
Oh, we were just talking about your coffee break.
They know the really difference between teaching KG and I teach upper grades. I teach year 10 and above to 13. So we were saying like how I use the strategy of these things.
How would you use it?
Yeah, that's what we were interested in. Yeah, I do use songs.
Yeah, I use songs in the upper grades,
Yeah,
but
they love it, and they
Yeah.
when we are singing, yes, it's a singing day, It's like when we start with a song or something.
well, we would have like various structures and punctuation and poetry and songs that are advanced.
Yeah.
That if they memorized it and then wrote it down, you could study
A
it.
song, for example, I got a rap music, and I went, okay, let's do rhyming words, and then they did all the proficiency through a rap song or something. They loved it.
It just goes, I'm just was thinking because it goes to show you that even they're still kids, even
Yeah.
they're in that age.
I'm still a kid.
I used to teach adult classes, and they
Me
love to
too.
learn this way. In
love
the
games
same
in general.
games, memory games, matching
Takes
games.
out the heavy of the learning.
And even us, showing us this little mouse and opening a story, it gets your attention. Once you lecture, you lose your audience. But those little things, I was looking at the mouse and said, I became happy when I saw it in your hand. So it must be it's never.
Well, remember the mystery bag from yesterday? That's going to become my animals, and they get a new one every day, and I make them. So the teacher makes that. Whoa. So what's the new one today?
So to do what? I wasn't there yesterday.
And I felt better yesterday too. Oh my God.
Oh, you feel tired. I noticed.
No, I'm very sick. I got super sick in the morning. Can't believe I'm here.
You're doing great, honey. You're doing great.
But I forgot some things. I was like, oh.
It's okay. You have your email on the website, right?
Yes, and I have cards if you want. Yeah. But I think that would be good if you chose a poem or a song that was like advanced sort of rhymes or spelling.
Is I take the song and then I made them analyze it. Take the verbs, take the adjectives, take the connected words, take the nouns and put them in different columns, and then see where is the past tense, where is the present tense. I make the lesson a song. It's analyze it.
You're going to give a workshop. Did you give a workshop?
I did in Dubai.
Oh, let me see.
Atlantis. It was Gems Awareness Day
Wow.
last year, and I will do it this year.
Okay. How are you doing?
Shall we start starting?
Tell what kind of language experience will be. It will be the commercial or whatever you did, the presentation.
Okay, the KG ones, right? Let them copy it from a piece in front of them, not from the board still.
Okay.
So they can copy the sentences from.
Yeah, I mean, they can have a little book, They would love that, something to take home. Then they can read it to their parents. Parents be so happy. But if this thing, they can build up these books, you can have them in the classroom. I think it's great.
It doesn't have to be 4 lines, because this is just.
No, this can be anything.
I mean,
really.
they just write on 1 line. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
They don't have, like, it's not a handwriting. It's just copybooks,
Yeah.
just online. It's just,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter how neat they are, I think.
Well, that's what you're teaching little by little. Remember, this is the first time. Then, you're going to work towards your big objective. Who was I giving those?
Thank you. I want one.
Yeah, I will have one. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Celebrity.
Thank you. No. All right, let's see how much time. If you guys want to write something, that'd be great, but if not, I'm going to make up something for you guys. This group. Yes. All right, how much more time? Let's see. No, I think wait. Yeah, but we have the 4 o'clock, so we have to. Is this a good time to stop? Do you have enough to talk about? Okay, because we have at 4 o'clock the big, another speaker, so I don't want you to miss out and get a good seat. Okay, well, we can just hold these up. I think sometimes I'm tired when someone talks again. I like to see it, because I kind of space out. That's me. Who would this group like to go first? So you can stay over there, Walter, but hold up your paper so...
There's not much to
Okay, we'll just talk about it then. I'm going to sit down if you don't mind.
Actually, think about the fourth grade reading lesson.
Yes.
And our objective is to teach students how to read, taking into consideration the punctuation. So we make a dialogue between a mom and her son who wants to know what's inside the bag. She's coming from the grocery stores and he tries to know what is inside the bag. So the mother tried to use different punctuation using, for example, as a teacher, maybe we'll act like a mom and we will hold the bag and the student, guess what is inside the bag? And he says, oh, so in that way the students will try to use the punctuation. We plan to give them a flashcard, each group, so they can write up the correct punctuation for that dialogue.
Yeah. So the shared experience is a dialogue because they want to concentrate on quotation marks and stuff, and then they write it down, and then you work on the... Because in the way you trick them, they use it without knowing, and then you have it in their copybooks, and then you pull it out. And what I have them do for grammar is they tell me their definition of it and when you use it. And we even write that rule out, their rule. And then we generate examples using the rules. So I think you've got a great lesson going there. Hey. Who's next? Who's next?
Our table, we were talking about using grammar for songs, and because we teach different levels, and she teaches in grade 10.
Yeah.
Big kids, and there's KG. So but we were supposed to know that she uses also songs to deconstruct her grammar lesson.
Yeah.
Want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I try to take the main objective of the lesson and the new vocabulary that I'm going to teach. Usually I make them into a song, and at the same time I take the song and analyze it, have the student look at the verbs they had in the song and the nouns and the adjectives, connected words, and then they see the different tenses of the find either past tense, present tense. And in this way, they analyze the song and they learn it. They have fun acting it out. And sometimes you take it to the drama room to act it with a nice background.
Wow.
So it is a
Let's
whole
all go to her
project.
class. No, and using this method, and it made, I'm so glad you came. It made me stretch my mind in these fourth grade because, yeah, songs and poems for the upper grades are more complicated, right? They can have different spellings. Yes.
Yeah, you just have to be careful with talking to their appropriate age level. It's not like you talk about things for little children.
No.
It's more teenager songs.
Yeah, and once they memorize or sing the song, you write it down and then you pull out the thing. So that's enough.
Actually, I compose songs for children.
Oh my goodness. Okay, she's giving the next workshop.
Release it in a CD, so we have 15 already.
Oh, send it to me.
CD number 1 is ready.
Wow.
You'll get the first copy.
Okay. Right, real quick, because I hear it's probably time to go, but
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so maybe turn around because your back is too.
Yeah, our aim, our objective was for children, for KG1 children, to recognize some high frequency words. So what we did is we read again a story that they're familiar with. Could be a new story, like at least they're familiar with the characters of the story, so we can read it, and then I can ask children to retell the story and I will write it, and then we'll do reading again, let them read it at the same activity we did now. We can choose boys, girls, and then if I feel that they're confident, I can start erasing some of the tricky words and let them just build a sentence.
Yeah, like the next day.
Exactly. We can have the tricky words on cardboard. They can put or just have the sentence on also flashcards, and they have to reorganize the words into a sentence. And then the last step would be that they can copy one or two sentences that have these high frequency words.
Yeah, I mean, very good. Another thing I suggested, kids always come in with the news from home, especially after the weekend. It was my mom's birthday. I mean, whatever they can say, and you can transform that experience. All the kids could tell something, and the one you want to focus on because that day you're working on the B, where it's my mom's birthday. So that could be the news of the day, and you write that out together, and then you have kids circle the letter. So it's called morning message. Real quickly, and we'll come to a conclusion.
We were talking about how to write the persuasive paragraph. First of all,
Now, this is interesting, so speak loudly.
How to write a persuasive paragraph through the Oreo method. I asked all the students to bring Oreo, and they were like asking why do we need it and these questions. And then I told them how to do it according to the Oreo word. Like O, you give your opinion, reason, and then example, and then O again, which is for opinion. And then we started again writing persuasive advertisement. Like they have to design it through colorful drawings, and like you can buy one pizza, you can get the other one free. So they have to decide on that, and they did the advertisement by themselves. It was so nice. This one.
And then we talked about making into this method that's the experience that they acted out these skits, and then before her modeling her persuasive paragraph, what they could do is maybe pick the most motivating one, the funniest one, whatever, and they could all, as a model, they could remember it, and she starts forming it with the children's ideas and modeling the persuasive paragraph. So this becomes a model to work on, pulling out the words for the rest of the kids to go on their own, more independent practice. So I love that we had upper grade things. So it's a basic method. You can use it with adults too that are at a lower reading level. Actually, that's what it was made for, or children starting out to read. So let me come to our conclusion. Thank you very much. Okay, how can you use this in your classroom? We already did that. We don't need to do that. Let's see if we met our objectives. Did we engage in authentic early language experiences?
Yes.
To lead to successful reading and writing? Well, you are already successful. Did we demonstrate the steps of a suggested protocol for first through grades? But we found out 4th through 10th, actually. And we said state 5 new authentic reading and writing activities. And I think in your workshop we had at least 4. So that's good enough for today. Thank you so much. I'm going to give it to you. I'm very pleased. And here's my email. I have cards if you would like to stay in contact.